class, it's Miss Rogers. We back at it with Grace and Mercy. Yesterday I wanted to give y'all a day off, and honestly I needed a day off too. So today we back at it. I know it's Friday. I know most of y'all don't want to do work today. Y'all don't even want to have nothing to do with school today. But guess what? We gotta do what we gotta do because it's business, right? We got a future to build. Alright, so we are on chapter 2, measurements. All right, so what are measurements? Measurements are coordinates or circumferences that show you how long something is, how wide something is, how long it needs to be, how wide it needs to be. The measurements are used when building a building. Measurements are used when making clothing. Measurements are used when babies are born. They measure the body so that they can have an accurate length of this actual human being or this particular thing. So that's what we're talking about today. All right, so as some of you all know, some of you may not know, measurements are very, very, very important. Not only in the sewing world, but measurements were important in the Bible days, back in the Old Testament. When God gave Solomon the instructions on building a temple for the Ark of the Covenant, God gave him specific instructions and measurements as to how to build the ark, how to build a temple, how to build the rooms, like how to build the wings of the cherubim that were on top of the covenant, how long the poles should be that were to carry the covenant, because nobody was supposed to touch the covenant because it was holy. So that's where this book comes into play. Now I know some of y'all ain't got y'all book yet, and I don't know what you're waiting on. So I need y'all to go grab that book. It ain't number $30. Some of our textbooks are how much? $100, $200. Y'all, if you've been in college on campus, you know the old school ways. We was paying hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars for books just to use for 4 months, just to go resell them or trash them or keep them for the future. So go get your book. If you don't have it, go get your book. You can spend $30 on 30 cheeseburgers. No, let me take that back. On 10 cheeseburgers in a week, baby, you can go get you a textbook. It ain't expensive. You can spend $30 on 1 pack, 2 packs of cigarettes, something that'll kill you versus something that's gonna add to your life. So let's make wise decisions in 2025, please. All right. So we're in the chapter 2 for measurements. And so what we're going to do now, we're going to turn to our conducting measurements page. On this page, you'll find the things that you need to measure. So what you would need, like I have right here, I have a measuring tape. These measuring tapes, you're going to find a lot of people with the white one or the pink one. I have both, the pink, and I also have the white one. I keep one in my purse because I never know who I'm gonna run into who decides, oh, hey, can you make me something? Absolutely. You're gonna need pen and paper right here because you wanna always be ready, and you wanna be ready to write down the information that you need as you measure your client. So it's very important that when you're measuring your client, that you always ask your client to have something tight fitted on. And the reason I say tight fitted is because if they're going to be dressed when you're measuring them, you need their clothes to fit them so you can get a pretty close measurement as to how wide, how long something needs to be for them. If they have on baggy clothes, that's gonna mess all your measurements up if you're trying to measure over some clothes. So, like I said, if they're gonna be fully clothed, ask them to wear those workout pants, some tight workout pants, or some or a fitted dress like mine is fitted. So if somebody were to measure me, they would get accurate measurements. Or you can ask them, put a sports bra on underneath, but honestly, if it's a woman, you want her to wear a bra that she's normally going to wear on a regular, because then you can get the correct measurements for her bust, which include the bra in those measurements. Let's see, but if she wears like the sporty bras that take away from the accent of a woman, her bust area, and it just makes her flat, then she can wear her sports bra and put on some fitted briefs or some fitted shorts. But you want to make sure your client is wearing something fitted, and that includes men as well. Most men, you're gonna find them in those dry fit boxer briefs. Some of them you'll find in boxers. You can work with boxers because they're loose enough for you to get the measuring tape around the thigh when you're measuring the thigh. You just lift it up a little bit and do what you need to do. You want them to stand straight. Their posture is very important. You want their shoulders back. You want them to stand straight. And you also want them to put their feet together. Because standing with your feet apart can give you the wrong idea of how wide a person's hips are. If you see right here, I look wide. When I bring my legs together, I don't look as wide. So I want y'all to keep that in mind because measurements are very, very, very critical when it comes to making a garment for someone, okay? So if we flip to the next page, you're gonna see the male and the female body. These are the areas that require measurements when you are measuring a male or a female. For women, of course, our waistline is very important, our hips, our butt, our bust. Like, it's very important that, especially if you're into wearing fitted garments, you want to make sure that those measurements are on point. Especially if you're dealing with some bad dresses. I mean, come on, or pantsuits or rompers. For the men, most men, they ain't wearing no tight pants. They need space for their crotch. Like, men have stuff that hang low and wobble to and fro. So you want to make sure they got room for their crotch area, because some men, like I said, wear boxer briefs. Some wear those dry fit drawers. So make sure that you are measuring your client properly. And also, like I said, most men ain't walking around here with skinny jeans and skinny dress pants on. They want something that's going to bring out the sexy masculine in them. So you got men wearing the Chicago style dress pants, not fitted but loose, where those suckers just flow with you and it drop on the bottom at the top of their shoe. Like, you got men that dress like that. You got men who like it to not be wide up here, but they like for their pants to be loose up here and then kind of come in just a little bit. They don't want it tight, like skinny leg jeans, like women wear. They want them loose, but they want them to look good. They want them tapered. So you have clients that have various styles. So measurements are so important. It is critical, critical, critical. I can't emphasize that enough, okay? You're going to find definitions for each thing here, each category here. You're going to find those definitions here. It explains, what does this mean? What do I need to do and how do I need to do it? So I'm going to do a couple of examples for you guys today, as best as I can, because none of y'all want to get up and participate, but it's all good. Next time, be ready, okay? Okay, all right. So I have my measuring tape here, and as you see, on this side is inches, on this side is centimeters. I want to make sure it's clear enough for you. Centimeters and inches. So I'm going to measure with inches, and right now we're going to do my waist, okay? So I can do this myself. It's very easy. However, when we are doing measurements on our clients, we want to make sure that when we do measurements, put your thumb on the inside of that measuring tape so that you can leave at least an inch on the inseam, okay? Because you never know if you're going to have to take in or let out. Sometimes I give myself an extra 2 inches. Like, for instance, right now, my waist is a 32, okay? So if I'm making something for myself, I'll go out to a 34, just because I want to make sure that I leave room for error. Some people, you got those who know that they ain't gonna never make mistakes. And that's good, because we all trying to get to that place. But for those of us who are starting out and who are really still getting familiar with the process of sewing and with the machine and with measurements and with cutting the material, we want to leave room for error at all times. So remember, leave at least 1.5. I'm gonna say 1.5 for those of you who are like, one is not enough. Go to 1.5, and if 1.5 is not enough, go up to 2. Leave 2 inches, up to 2 inches of material out. Like, include that in your measurements because you want to leave room for error. You don't want to ever not leave room for error, and you need that extra material so that you can take something out to make it actually fit. So again, you throw your thumb, you might be a 32 like me. Well, honey, put that thumb back there when you measure and bring it on now. Bring that little metal piece on now to 33, 34, and you put the actual measurement, like 32, as the measurement for your client, and then put 2-inch inseam allowed. Okay? You want to do that. You do that for every freaking measurement you do. Like for my wrist, because I don't know if I can do my arm. I'm going to show you how to measure my wrist. So for my wrist, it's not as easy as it looks. My wrist is about a 6.5, okay? So since my wrist is a 6.5, I'm definitely gonna go out to about a 7.5. Just because I know I'm still going, once I sew and serge, well, not even serge yet, but once I sew it together and try it on, if it's too loose, shoot, I can go in there, okay, like, all right, I can go take this in some and cut that off. Leave room for error. I'm not going to ever tell you that it's okay not to leave enough room for error. Okay? Being real. I don't care how skinny you are or how plus size you are. I'm never going to tell you not to leave room for error. All right. So now I'm going to measure my neck. My neck is approximately 13 and a half, somewhere up in there. 13 and a quarter. So, guess what? I'm going to bring that sucker on out to about a 14 or a 13. Well, since it's a 13 and a half, I bring it to like 14 and a half, just because that leaves me wrong. Because guess what? I'm sewing on a zipper. And I want to make sure I don't have to go add nothing to extend my area of work on my product, on my garment, because I ain't leaving it wrong. I don't want to have to do that. So remember that, okay? So now I'm gonna do my best to measure my arm. When I measure my arm, I start, because my sleeve is starting here, like my sleeve will start here. I usually go from here, and I just let the measuring tape fall down my arm. And at my wrist, it shows right now that it is 24 and a half. I will literally make my sleeve a 25 just because I want to leave room for error. All that extra material, once I have tried it on, after I sewn it together, or even after I pinned it together and I tried on inside out with my pins on the outside, if I see that there's enough room for me to bring them pins, keep my pins where they are or bring them in, I'm going to do that. But you always gotta leave room for error. Do not forget that. So what I want you guys to do, want y'all to do over the weekend, I want you to find 2 people that you know that are related to you. I want you to find 2 people, and I want you to practice measuring on them. You have a place in your textbook to write those measurements for your client, okay? So I really, really, really want y'all to get on this, because I'm not speeding this process up for y'all. I want to make sure everybody knows what they're doing and that they're comfortable doing it. I don't want nobody to leave here with questions unanswered or problems not solved. I want to provide a solution to the problem, and I want to be able to make sure that you guys are comfortable doing measuring people. And even if you can find somebody who's just willing to let you measure them and you don't have anybody close, it could be a friend, it could be your friend's parents. Like, get somebody that trusts you and that you trust to allow you to do measurements on them. Show them what you're doing. Like, this is my classwork. I just need somebody to practice on. There are several pages in that book for you to write people's measurements down on. But I want you to write them down, get comfortable, write that person's name up here. So in the future, if you decide, you know what, because they were willing to volunteer themselves for me to measure them, I want to make something for them, surprise them with something. You can go back to this book and get the measurements. Okay? All right. So our measurements chapter is not long. However, we are going to resume the rest of the measurements chapter on Monday. So I need you guys to handle this for me over the weekend. 2 people minimum. Make sure you put their name up there so you remember who it was. Write about your experience and how it made you feel, because you do have a section in there in your chapter, your measurements chapter, to write your thoughts, to write your feelings. Like, you have this page to write, you have a regular journaling page to write, you have this page to write. Get in that journal, the journaling part of your book, and write your experience, your feelings, your thoughts down. Because I genuinely want to make sure that each one of you is comfortable doing this, and that you are feeling like, oh, I got it, I got it, I got it. I want you to feel like that, like I feel when I make something or when I measure somebody. So I started small. Now I'm doing big. So we all start somewhere. It ain't always gonna be fun and easy. Guess what? Sewing requires patience. And if you don't have patience, you will develop patience throughout the process of learning how to sew. Because, baby, trust me, when it comes down to sewing together, and then you realize, dang, I need to redo that hem, or dang, I need to redo that inseam. You gotta sit down, take your time, and rip that thread out. And it's okay, because practice makes perfect. And don't ever think that you won't become, or you will never make it to being perfect on this journey, because I already see greatness in you, and I already see somebody making something beautiful and magnificent. So I want you believe in yourself, encourage yourself, pat yourself on the back once you finish the measurements, because I did not announce that everybody, every single person in the classroom got a 100 plus an extra 15 points on their very first quiz. I'm so proud of you guys, and I appreciate y'all taking this serious, because it is serious. This is something that's going to go with you for the rest of your life. Can't nobody take knowledge and skill from you. Only thing you can do with that knowledge and skill is take it and pour it into somebody else and build into somebody else. So you guys, I'm so grateful to have you all as my students. I'm looking forward to a very bright future. For those of you who are in Memphis, Tennessee, or in the Tennessee area, I will see you all in person in July 2025 for my very first annual Sowing Seeds workshop. So if you are in a neighboring state and you want to be there, go on my website. It should be in my bio. Go on my website. Look for the information. Sign up. It's very cheap. This is not about making money for me. It's about helping people. It's about pouring into people. It's about building the kingdom of God. Because remember, God was strategic in everything he did. And you're going to be strategic in everything you do. Always seek him in everything you choose to do. Before you make decisions, seek him. He'll give you the answers. I promise you he will. I'll see y'all Monday. Have a safe weekend. Don't forget y'all got homework. So I'm expected to receive this homework back Monday at the beginning of the class. And then we'll resume with our measurements. All right, y'all. See you.